So every industry goes through a technological transformation, and our industry is perhaps at the forefront. The new buzz terms doing the round is broadband over satellite. May I request Mr. Sameer Kanse, our Chief Business Officer, to help us understand this new technology.
Thank you.
Over to you, sir.
I'm not used to that. Mike, Mahesh, we are going to call you. Okay, it's not that we are canceling your appointment. So welcome everyone. We heard a lot about metaverse and a lot of things. The world is, however, filled with promises which are not kept. Right? I'm not talking about our politicians during elections. I'm generally talking about a lot of products which come with a lot of promise. And as we were discussing about metaverse, I remember that the original metaverse, the original metaverse actually came in 2008. It was called Second Life. Google launched it. To be precise, in July 2008. And then they shut it down in November 2008. Okay? And then we, of course, know about Segway, where right from Microsoft to Mr. Bezos to whoever had invested tons and tons of money as a replacement to what you call personal mobility device. Again, it's only today used in resorts and nowhere else. So sometimes products come with a lot of promise which are not delivered, just a hype cycle, right? And so when people hear about broadband over satellite, I often hear them saying, there is 5G coming, so much fiber everywhere you go. Why do you need broadband over satellite? Good question, right? I will say it's good because, Vince pays me to say that, but do you really believe it, right? So let's hear what you believe, okay? Since it's a post-lunch session and, I don't want you to go off to sleep, I'll request all of you, please take out your mobile, go onto the camera app, okay? And not only our employees, please. They know what to vote for. So, but what I would like to do is scan this QR code, okay? And then click on it. It will lead you to a page where you can vote, right? I want you to say, what do you think? Broadband over satellite, chalega ya pitega? Very frank opinion. As I said, our employees will say chalega. They're paid to do that, but your frank opinion is invited. Arey, Prakash ji aa gaya. Prakash ji, alag karunga. He told me during lunch that I already know what you're going to present. Okay, so once you're done scanning, any issues? Everyone can scan. Everyone reach the page. Ho gaya? Okay, I need someone to click on that arrow button. But that won't allow me to click on the screen. If everyone has finished scanning, can someone click on that button, arrow? It should lead to a web page. Let's see what. Okay. Murphy's Law at play, is it? Brilliant. See, that's why I need broadband over satellite, pervasive internet everywhere, right? Okay, though I can see the results on my phone if it's not going to come up because my phone has internet. Can you or can you not see the results? Okay. All right, so you're getting it? Okay. Correct. Enterprise connectivity is missing over here. Yes, that's what I will do. Okay, so I have the results. Yeah, 80. Oh wow, मेरा job बच गया. 87% of people think that chalega, which is surprising, right? I mean, with all that we said, about fiber and all of that, why it will chalega. So let's go jump into the session, switch to the PowerPoint. So before we jump into a little bit on broadband over satellite and what it is, I'll just like to give you a quick primer on the various technologies. Oh, I can control it, right? But let's look at history, right? We keep saying that broadband over satellite chalega. I'm pretty sure that most of the people who said chalega think it will work in rural areas, it will work where there is no fiber, and so on and so forth, right? Let's learn a little bit from history. 2003, when DTH was launched, right? This is what happened. Everyone said the same thing. It was substandard, right? It had only 48 channels when fiber was potentially giving you hundreds of them. People said that customers need to mount a dish. Who's going to take the pain of mounting a dish? People then said that it's very high cost, high capex. How are you going to recover the cost? And then they said the same thing, targeted to rural areas, right? And here's what happened 10 years later. 3 years later, we just were at 1% penetration. 10 years later, it was pervasive everywhere. Dish, which was said to be the issue, actually became a strength. No one complained about the dish. 23% market share, right? And people are actually ready to pay a higher price for the quality, real or not, but people paid for the quality of DTH. So what looked like an ugly worm actually transformed into a butterfly. Now let's look at where we are today in 2022 in terms of broadband over satellite. People keep saying it's substandard, there's high latency and high costs. We keep saying customers need to mount a dish, who's going to do that? I'm used to just putting a modem. People keep saying it's high capex, high prices. Maybe it will work in rural and remote areas. Rings a bell? It's exactly similar to what you were saying about DTH, right? Is this the worm which will become a butterfly? Are we missing something? Let's look at what we are perhaps missing in all of this, right? Broadband over satellite really has three components, right? There's a traditional VSAT market which runs on Geo, which we all know, very high cost, 1 Mbps, half Mbps, thanks to all the banks who really were at the forefront of buying it for the remote ATMs, right? They were running on MPLS connectivity. They were even happy with 256. We said, no, you need 1 Mbps and gave them 1 Mbps. But the world, when we talk today of broadband over satellite, actually talks of MEO and more often not LEO. Now, when it comes to LEO, if you do a cost computation, the cost per dollar, per meg of a LEO is 30 cents. Okay? I did this. You can do this. Do this maths at the back of the paper, right? Based on the number of customers it supports and so on and so forth. The latency is anywhere between 2 to 27 milliseconds. Now, people will scoff and say, but 5G gives me 10 milliseconds. Hold on. That 10 milliseconds is from the tower to your phone. I don't want to reach the tower. I want to reach the server. And from there on, you will go on a fiber, and depending on what kind of connectivity through multiple hops, you will reach the server maybe in 50 to 60 milliseconds. Maybe, depending on where the server is and where you are accessing it from. But when a LEO talks of 27 milliseconds or even 2 to 27 milliseconds, it's talking end to end. I could technically, and not technically, that's what most of them plan to do, put up a downlink dish directly in an AWS or a GCP. So your end-to-end connectivity is going to be 27 milliseconds. Assured, no packet loss because no hops, and always on, none of which can be promised by any other technologies. So it may not necessarily be a backup link to your primary on fiber. Even today, algo traders, or what you call high-frequency traders, are actually already using LEOs because they believe it's the fastest mechanism to get to the server, right? And then there are other use cases, right? For example, we have partnered with Tata Study or Tata ClassEdge to launch interactive education in far-flung areas. We have been working with Pulwama, we have been working in Sopian, we have been working in Tawang and Jung. Most of us maybe don't even know this place, but it's told to me that in Jung, where we have put this, you get better 5G from China than any connectivity from India, right? Also in these places, traveling even 5-7 kilometers is a pain because altitude, not good roads, connectivity is not there. So pulling a fiber, you'll still need to get people there to do all that stuff. Not happening, right? So we actually have leveraged broadband over satellite to deliver connectivity over there. And this is not one-way learning. This is not a TV screen showing you OTT kind of content one way. This is truly a teacher sitting in a Kanpur or a Bombay or a Delhi, talking to students as if they are in class, interacting with them, understanding the different pace at which different students adapt, and hence solving their doubts and going at their pace. So this is truly an immersive classroom experience that we are giving. Right? I'm going to show you a quick video clip to show, one, how it looks, and two, the feedback that is there from the teachers over there. Right? Oh, sorry. Is it playing?
लाइक कर रहा था तो मैं बहुत ही डिसइंटरेस्ट हुई इस चीज को लेके, शायद बच्चों को प्रॉपर गाइडेंस और प्रॉपर टीचिंग रिगार्डिंग साइंस फिजिक्स नहीं मिली है. दैट इज वाई बच्चे डिसलाइक करते हैं सब्जेक्ट को. अब मुझे लगा इट इज ओनली बिकॉज डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द टीचर का लेक्चर कैसे होता है. अब सारे बच्चे साइड में मुझे आसपास बोलने लगे हैं, मैम लाइट इज टू मच इजी लेसन नाउ. यस मैम, थैंक यू सो मच मैम, थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, ma'am. That is very kind of you. Thank you so much to say that. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So you see, this is the live screen. The teacher is live on a big screen. She's actually showing the content. She's actually using the screen as a whiteboard. Students can walk up and use a stylus to actually write. So when in typical classroom and teacher will tell you, come solve this problem, students can actually do that. So we are talking of a very different kind of education over here, which now, agreed, need not go on broadband over satellite alone. But what I'm trying to really say over here is that in today's world, and as Gaurav was saying sometime back, you will really need 1.5 Mbps. So the pipe 100 Mbps, 200 Mbps, I haven't seen an application for it yet. Okay? But what does matter is latency. Right? If your latency, the buffering today is not caused by anything else but latency. And if Leo can bring down the latencies to 10 milliseconds, only then can you do a real-time surgery. If Leo or broadband over satellite can ensure consistent connectivity at low latencies, only then are you going to really be able to run an unmanned vehicle. Otherwise, an unmanned vehicle is going on Bombay-Pune Expressway, it causes cargo toll and it stops because there is a dark spot of 5G. Then you'll push it and then bring it to a good spot and then it will start again. Right? Not happening. So pervasive connectivity is something which broadband over satellite can do, and some of the drivers of its growth, of course, I said low latency connection is one of the drivers, right? But if you look at some of the other applications, we are all talking today of drones in some way or the other, be it for surveillance, be it for delivery, for various applications, right? Beyond defense, which was the primary use case. And there again, pervasive connectivity in the air can only come from broadband over satellite. We are talking of IoT and automation. And finally, direct phone calls. Apple already has launched the ability to do an SOS call through your phone today where there is no connectivity. Nothing really stops you from doing a truly satellite call. Iridium tried to do it ahead of its time in 2000s. It failed because of security measures and a lot of other stuff. But perhaps the time has now come that there could actually be a phone call and you don't need mobile towers at all, because no one wants a mobile tower on his head. Everyone wants it on a neighboring building because apparently it causes cancer. I don't know. Okay. Lot of investments going on in this space. Like I said, that does not necessarily mean it will succeed, but at least $50 billion of money is going into broadband over satellite from various players. And these are people who don't throw money around. I mean, we can discount Musk from it, right? He's got a lot of mere baap ke bahut paisa hai. But apart from that, there are very sensible people who are investing in this space. Right? Kepler is, the most conservative group who is investing in this space. Amazon is investing in this space. So it can't all be that it's a fancy fad, right? 50 billion is too much of money to throw behind a fad, right? So then the question is, what will happen to fiber? What happened to cable TV when DTH came? Finally, both found a happy coexistence. And similarly, we believe that it's not one technology or other. Broadband over satellite, for broadband over satellite to succeed, fiber penetration need not drop down, and vice versa. They will coexist for applications and for different uses, right? Horses for courses, it will continue to work together, right? So that's my quick primer on broadband over satellite. Happy to answer any questions before we jump into the next session. Yeah? Good question. Now, that is subject to how you provision it, right? Today, most of the time, broadband over satellite puts a downlink, more downlink than uplink, because that's how traffic pattern is. You consume more than you upload more. But for enterprise applications, it could be the other way around. Like we have a classic case of a customer who's into renewable energy, who gave us a call yesterday and said, I actually need 7 up and 3 down in the 10, right? We did that. So technology does not restrict you from up versus down. Even today on fiber, you typically are expecting more down than up, right? But technology does not restrict you either ways. Any? So I don't believe that people would necessarily want to put up a dish on their house or need to. Like eventually, even in DTH, there was a common dish which then distributed to a society or a complex. I see that even with distributors, there would be a dish through which you downlink and then use their fiber infrastructure to distribute locally. You create micro pockets of POPs within your locality. So if you have a very dispersed population in a district, pulling fiber becomes infeasible. You actually put up multiple POPs of dishes and then you kind of distribute from that point. That's where I think that distributors have a role to play and work together.
Local caching which reduces the latency further.
So local caching is interesting, but in the earlier sessions we saw that most people are consuming YouTube. And YouTube has a very long tail. How much and what are you going to cache? You can only cache when you know that there is a... So if everyone's going to watch Khaki, I know that Khaki is the latest release, I can cache Khaki from Netflix. But I can't cache the entire Netflix catalog in a local server. So and in YouTube, you can never predict who's going to watch. If here I ask all of you to take out YouTube and watch whatever you want, it's very unlikely that even 2 phones are going to have the same content that you're watching. So I can't cache everything. But yes, caching will play an interesting role in OTT, in delivering OTT content, even for, during sports. We know that everyone's going to watch IPL. Also, live is not something that you're really caching. You can only cache on-demand content, right? So that's where I think caching will play a role.